We usually think about our teeth for one thing, right? Chewing. But what if they're trying to tell you something more? In this explainer, we're going to decode the secret messages your mouth is sending about your overall health.
Okay, let's be honest. It is one of the most frustrating feelings, isn't it? You're doing everything right. You brush twice a day, you're diligent, and then, boom, you go to the dentist, and there's another cavity. What gives? Well, it turns out the answer might not be in your brushing habits at all.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. Dr. Nikita Varshney puts it perfectly. Our mouth is like a window into our body's well-being. So if we can just learn to read the signs, we can get ahead of problems before they even really start. All right, let's kick things off with the single biggest misconception about cavities. We've all been drilled, no pun intended, that sugar is the ultimate villain. But the real story? It's a little more complicated than that. And this is where we need to totally shift our thinking. It's not just about how much sugar you eat in a day, it's about how often you expose your teeth to it. Think about it. A single dessert, eaten all in one go, is actually less damaging than sipping on a soda all afternoon long. So why? Why is frequency the real bad guy here? It all comes down to this idea of the acid zone. See, every single time you eat or drink something sugary or even starchy, your mouth becomes acidic, and that acid starts attacking your tooth enamel. If you're constantly snacking, your mouth just never gets a break. It never has a chance to neutralize that acid and repair itself. But here's the good news, and it's a super simple solution. You can still enjoy your treats. The trick is to just have them in one sitting. And then, when you're done, just swish with some water. That quick rinse helps wash away the sugars and pulls your mouth out of that dangerous acid zone way faster. Okay, so now that we've unmasked the real enemy, frequency, let's start decoding some of the other common signals your smile sends. We're going to look at some of the biggest worries people have and figure out what those signs are really telling us. All right, first up, why are my teeth turning yellow? This is probably the #1 question dentists get. And people often feel really self-conscious about it, thinking it means their teeth are dirty. But that's usually not the whole story. There are actually two main culprits here. The first one is kind of what you'd expect, right? Stains from things like coffee, tea, smoking. But the second one is way more surprising. The white outer layer of your tooth, the enamel, can actually get thinner over time. And when it does, it starts to show the layer underneath, which is called dentin. And dentin is naturally yellow. So what do you do about it? This is super important. Please, please, please avoid those DIY whitening remedies like scrubbing with lemon juice or baking soda. They are way too abrasive and can literally strip your enamel away for good. Instead, simple things like using a straw for your iced coffee and getting regular professional cleanings are so much safer and honestly more effective. Okay, let's tackle a sensitive topic, bad breath. It can be really embarrassing, I get it, but it's so important to just see it for what it is, a signal. It's a sign that there's a buildup of bacteria somewhere. So where is this pesky bacteria hiding? Well, it's usually in two key places, on the very, very back of your tongue or in those tiny gaps between your teeth where your toothbrush bristles just can't squeeze in. A good tongue scraper and, as we're about to see, flossing can make a world of difference here. But here's the real reason to pay attention to this. If you're doing everything right, you're scraping your tongue, you're flossing, and that bad breath just won't quit, it could be your mouth's way of screaming for help. It might be pointing to a hidden cavity or an underlying gum problem, and that is a crystal clear sign to call your dentist. Here's another one that gets totally misunderstood, tooth sensitivity. You know that wince you get when you drink cold water? You might just think, oh, I've got sensitive teeth. But guess what? The hidden cause is often that you are brushing way too hard. You're literally scrubbing away your own enamel instead of just gently cleaning. And all of this brings us to what might be the single biggest blind spot in most people's dental routine. It's a huge number, and it has everything to do with those little spaces between your teeth. 40%. Just let that number sink in for a second. 40%. That is the percentage of your tooth surfaces that a toothbrush physically cannot clean. That means if you only brush, you're missing almost half your mouth. This visual really drives the point home, doesn't it? That big slice, that's what your toothbrush handles. Great. But look at that other huge chunk. That's the 40% you're missing. That's where all the gunk and plaque builds up, totally undisturbed, leading to cavities and gum disease. That is the area that only flossing can get to. I absolutely love this analogy.
Not flossing is like washing the front and back of your car, but never, ever touching the sides. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Well, that is exactly what's happening in your mouth when you skip the floss.
Okay, so we've decoded all these signals, we've busted some myths. So what's the simple, actionable takeaway here? How do you put all this together into a plan that's actually going to protect your smile for life? Well, it all comes down to one really easy rule.
It's the golden rule of dental care, and it's so easy to remember. The 2-2-2 rule. Brush 2 times a day, do it for a full 2 minutes each time, and schedule 2 professional visits a year for checkups. It's simple, it's memorable, and it covers all your bases. And I want to leave you with this final, really powerful thought. A broken bone can mend itself, your skin can heal from a cut, but your teeth are the only part of your body that cannot heal themselves. Once that enamel is gone, it is gone forever. A cavity doesn't just fix itself. So prevention is literally everything. The real question is, what story will your smile tell?